The only examples which remain to us of early Christian statues are the marble statuettes of the Good Shepherd in the Lateran Museum, and the bronze figure of St. Peter in the great church at Rome which bears his name, and the marble statue of Hippolytus, also in the Lateran Museum. Both the statue of St. Peter, however, and those of the Good Shepherd have been thought to be of pagan origin. But we have abundant remains of early Christian bas reliefs in the decoration of sarcophagi, which seem to have been set in places where they were open to view. The work of pagan artists was in early days sometimes used to receive the bodies of Christians, and when Christian sculptors were employed they adapted the style of their pagan predecessors to the treatment of Christian subjects. Nowhere is the rapid decline of art more recognizable than in the sarcophagi. The compositions are crowded and ill balanced, the figures are usually ill drawn, with short thick bodies, large heads, stiff draperies, and a general absence of dignity and grace. They are rather architectural and pictorial than sculptural or statuesque. They represent scenes from the Bible, Christ and the Apostles, the raising of Lazarus, the story of Jonah, the miracle of the loaves, the healing of the blind, Moses striking the rock, Daniel in the lion's den, and the like. One of the oldest and most beautiful sarcophagi is that of the prefect Junius Bassus, died 359. The finest perhaps of those found in Rome is that of Petronius Probus, died 395, in the subterranean church of St. Peter. Christian sarcophagi have also been found at Arles and at Treves. In the sculptures at Ravenna the biblical cycle of illustration is less prominent than elsewhere, but they are richer in decorative work. The cross, the vine, the monogram of Christ, doves and peacocks are frequently repeated around single figures of the Lord and his apostles. Representations of faithful servants of Christ, working or dying in the service of their Lord, so long as they were fitting and reverent, would seem not only innocent but profitable. But, in some cases at least, they came to be regarded with superstitious reverence, and the tendency to give them undue honor was no doubt increased by the belief that sacred pictures had wrought miracles. Augustine was far from being hostile to paintings in churches, but he bewails the use which was often made of them, and begs that the Catholic Church may not be blamed for the folly of some of her children who worship tombs and pictures, a folly which she herself condemned. Christ and his apostles were to be sought in the sacred books, not on painted walls. Towards the end of the 6th century, Leontius, bishop of Neapolis in Cyprus, discussed the question of the respect paid by Christians to images, with a view to rebut the charges of the Jews. The obeisance, or genuflection, proskynesis, made by Christians before images was no act of worship, but a symbol of respect, and it was not paid to the mere material image, but to that which the image represents. In the same way Christians reverence the holy places, not as divine in themselves, but as memorials of Christ. Everything depends on the intention of an act of reverence. Thus the respect paid by Christians to pictures came to be defended by the same arguments which had been used, a few generations earlier, by the pleaders for pagan idolatry. End of chapter 13, part 4.